January 23rd, 2018. Yesterday we averted another government shutdown. That means more federal employees not getting paid. Now that's never a good thing. Shut down by the Democrats for a matter of days. It could have gone longer. But we want the active military taken care of. We want all of our services that we expect from the federal government to continue. But as an investigative analyst, I started looking into how many people were going to be laid off that were actually reported as non-critical. And my results were frightening. What I found out is that we've got tens of thousands of federal employees that do not perform a critical function. Democrats, Republicans, liberals, conservatives all agree that the federal government has gotten way out of hand and was way too big. So my question today is this: how many of those people could stay laid off? As we all know, the government doesn't produce anything. It doesn't provide gross domestic product. It doesn't contribute to our economy. What happens is that they pull from you and I, the taxpayers. So what I wanted to look at was all the different departments and find out what exactly is going on. How many of those people that are considered to be non-critical should we shave off the list? Could they move into the private public, into the private economy? And should they produce a product or service, like everyone else does, that contributes and actually increase our economy? President Donald Trump has been saying that he wanted to go ahead and restore our economy from the inside. We're bringing back corporations from overseas. We're handling everything else that we can to go ahead and shut off all the money that we're giving to foreign countries right now that really don't appreciate us in the first place. We've got military bases in 152 countries right now. We've got trillions in defense spending just to keep up these bases, when actually they don't appreciate us being there. So therefore, I wanted to look at this. Well, I'm going to tell you right now. In my analysis, I found out that of most of the departments, and by the way, you can do your own research. I want you to look into this yourself. Like I said, there was tens of thousands of federal employees that are considered non-critical. Now, after the shutdown was lifted yesterday, they're all going to get their paychecks. And everybody should get paid for exactly what they earn. However, if we're looking at those people, we're looking at about 250 to 270,000 employees of the federal government right now that are considered non-critical. They're not really needed. When a major corporation has to, lean down, they do layoffs. And they go ahead and scale it down. Well, we don't have that. Not in the federal government. So the fact is that we need to go ahead and start looking at that. What my calculations come out to, because I looked into each department, and you can do it yourself, looked into each department and what the average salary was for those people that are leaving or are going to be furloughed or were. And I found out that we would pull back $21 billion, and that was just from the top departments. $21 billion a year just in those salaries. Now, what would they do to contribute to our society if they actually went into the federal government, pulled those people out? These people went into private corporations or started their own business. These people are supposedly very highly qualified, started their own businesses, and actually hired others, so we create the unemployment. For everyone that would leave the federal government, they could start a business of their own and hire 10 to 50 to 100 to who knows how many more employees. And the fact is, we never wanted the federal government, according to the founders, to ever be very large anyway. One of the funniest stories I tell in a lot of my classes is this, is they actually have in the Constitution that the Congress is required to be there 2 weeks a year. Why did they put that in there? Because they didn't think that the Congress was going to have that much to do. Now we have thousands of laws, thousands of regulations. President Donald Trump has said that he's replacing, for every regulation, he's ending 20. That tells us something, because the fact is most of these regulations we don't need. At the end of the Civil War, they said the only exposure the average American had to the federal government was when the postman came down the road. Now they're into every aspect of our lives. So I ask you, look into this. Go into each one of those that was going to be furloughed and lose their paycheck in the federal government by department. Find out, look up the average of what they would earn, and multiply that out. And all of a sudden you find out we've got another, say, $21 billion a year. But that's only on that side. That doesn't include all their pensions. It doesn't include all of that. The next thing I want you to look up, and do your research. Look up and find out exactly what each one of those people could do if they started their own business and hired another 10 or 20 Americans and employed them. What would happen to our economy? That is the real key point. So a government shutdown might not be a bad thing if we scale them down at the same time. They're not looking at doing that, but we need to think about it. Donaldson Report. Thank you.